be the school's fault. We really have a foolproof system for learning a language if you can invest just 30 minutes a day. And if 30 minutes a day is too frequent, or you need to skip a day here or there, don't worry about it. This isn't a race. Just continue where you left off. Who shouldn't try the Pimsleur approach? Anyone who is 10 or older will be successful with the Pimsleur approach. We even have customers who are 80 years old. Some people believe that they're visual learners and don't think Pimsleur will help them. Dr. Paul Pimsleur himself was a visual learner. He was a professor and loved to read. However, he couldn't ignore the proof he saw in his research. Learning by ear is the most effective way to learn a language because humans are uniquely gifted to attach complex meanings to sounds. And that's why any language learning program, to be truly effective, must be sound-based rather than visual. Look, the Pimsleur approach is as easy as listening to music. You can sing along with more than 2,000 songs because of a function of working memory called the phonological loop. The Pimsleur approach harnesses this phonological loop so that you remember not just the words, but exactly how they sound and what they mean. That all being said, we came up with this simple 10-point checklist. If any of the following 10 items appeal to you, then you definitely should not buy our course. You want to memorize grammar rules. You want verb conjugation drills that you can practice over and over. You want to reference a dictionary frequently while speaking. You enjoy studying textbooks and answering the review questions at the end. You like homework. You like taking tests. You want to learn to read before you learn to speak. You really want to do drills on a computer and you're willing to block out time for that. You like to spend hours memorizing vocabulary lists. You believe learning should be hard. Obviously, I'm kidding around here, but I hope that makes the point. Could you explain why the Pimsleur method is so effective and how I should use it for the best results? The Pimsleur approach is the easiest, most reliable, most natural way to learn a second language. It's all because of Dr. Pimsleur's 4 legendary principles. His first principle is graduated interval recall. Dr. Pimsleur made a lifelong study of how long we remember new information. Even more importantly, he was able to determine the precise intervals between repetitions that are necessary to achieve maximum retention. If we are reminded too soon or too late, retention suffers. The Pimsleur approach repeats words and phrases at precisely the right intervals and on exactly the right days. His second principle is anticipation. Dr. Pimsleur discovered that repetition alone isn't nearly enough. Learning happens most easily when you anticipate the answers to questions. The Pimsleur approach is the only method that triggers correct anticipation, and you're going to love it. His third principle is organic learning. Organic learning is natural learning. You learn to speak long before you learn to write, and you learn to speak by hearing words spoken correctly and in context. Dr. Pimsleur's research was the first to prove that language is assimilated naturally and effortlessly through hearing. Other language courses use the opposite approach, attempting to teach language as though it were math or science, which is why most people think it's hard to learn a foreign language. Finally, his fourth principle is core vocabulary. You don't need to learn all the words in a language, just the ones people use every day. Fluency isn't determined by how many words you know, but by how well you use the words and phrases that are part of common everyday language. You don't need to learn 1 million words to learn English. You can be fluent and articulate with a vocabulary of only 2,500 words and phrases. The Pimsleur approach focuses on these 4 essential principles, and as a result, the time and energy required to learn a second language is dramatically reduced. To answer the second part of your question, the best way to use the course is to just listen for 30 minutes a day. And the reality is that Pimsleur goes where you go and works perfectly while you're doing something else, so you'll stick with it, and that makes all the difference. What's your most popular language? By far, it's Spanish, which is almost 50% of our business. If you're not sure about which language to buy, we'd highly recommend you try Spanish. Imagine the adventure you can have traveling with ease to the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Spain, and all of Latin America. If you want to live like a king or retire down south where your dollars go far, Spanish could also be life-changing. After Spanish, the most popular languages are French, Italian, German, and Mandarin Chinese, in that order. How do I know I can trust your guarantee? We've been online since 2000 and have served millions of people. Our proficiency guarantee is very straightforward. Speak by the 10th day or you don't pay. No questions asked. I don't think we would be one of the fastest growing companies in America for the past 4 years if we weren't honoring our word. We've won awards such as the Inc. 5000, Philadelphia 100, Inner City 100, Future 50, Technology 500, and year after year, we're among the 500 largest online retailers in the U.S., according to Internet Retailer magazine. I think you'll be pleased to know that if you ever have any questions, we answer phone calls in 30 seconds or less. Now, all you need to do is try out the Pimsleur approach and discover how easy it is to learn a second language without memorizing vocabulary, without written homework or tests, and using the same method that's been purchased by the FBI and millions of people around the world. Follow your heart. Spend $10 and 30 minutes a day for 10 days. There's a Czech proverb which says, "You live a new life for every new language you speak." If you know only one language, you live only once. How many times have you spent just a few days and gained a new perspective on life? That's what really happens when you gain your new language through the Pimsleur approach.
Why not order right now? Here. It's all just one click of a mouse away.